All right, we are back with another episode of Your Relationship Sucks! Exclamation point. Just like always, I'm very excited about this. No college confession today, but that's all right because we've got Valentine's issues. That's what I'm being told. We got some people who are freaking out about what Hallmark card they're going to buy or something like that. That's what we're going to get into today. I haven't seen this. Our other co-host has not seen this. My older brother is here again to help us out. Before we hop into the question, again, follow us on, social media and check out the podcast and all that, and, follow and rate, review, tell other people, all those things. It does help us out. We appreciate it. Thanks for being with us and all of that. But now let's get into it. Initial impressions. Hit me with it. What do you got?
A 22-year-old female boyfriend, a 25-year-old male, bought $300 shoes after saying he was broke, and now he doesn't want to celebrate Valentine's Day.
Just went out and got the Yeezys. Just was like, you know what? I got to get the Yeezys.
Wow.
Yeah. So here's the hard part for me for this, and I'm just going to be upfront about it. I think Valentine's Day is by far the stupidest holiday in the world. It's a conspiracy between the chocolate people, the flower people, and the card people. It's all it is. They all got together somewhere and they all said, here's how we're going to suck a bunch of money out of people in the United States and around the world. But wow, I mean, first impressions though, I mean, I don't know how he's going to explain his way out of this one. I mean, I think it sends a message a little bit. Either he doesn't care about Valentine's Day like myself, or B, he's just not all in on the girl, and the footwear was more important, maybe because he's trying to impress somebody else. I don't know. That's my initial take.
I think this is a genius move. I think you have to assess. Did they say how long they've been together? Are they going to get into it at some point? Does she tell us how long they've been together?
About a year now.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I think's happening. This guy is making a play to reclaim some authority in this relationship, where he's just throwing it out there and seeing what happens. This is a guy who's fed up with whatever's happened. I'm not even saying it's her fault. I'm saying this guy somehow has convinced himself that he's got trapped in here. And now he's just going, I'm going to be as bold and brazen as I possibly can be. And I'm just going to see what happens. And if she's cool with it, then I know we could keep pushing that boundary. So I think I'm guessing my initial impression is that by the end of this, she's going to have to stand up. She's going to have to stand up to this guy and put her foot down, because I think that's what he's doing. I think he's going out there. I do like your idea that that he's possibly buying this stuff for the next one. This is like a job interview, don't quit your job till you have another one. I think for people who are serial monogamous, I think that is honestly a great piece of advice, because you're going to be straight up miserable if you break up and then you're like, I got to go find somebody. That's how you get yourself desperate. That's how you find yourself in the same situation a year later, So, I think you might be right. He might be out there just, literally fishing in the giant ocean of fish. I think that's a very possible, but I think he's just trying to reclaim some authority and saying, I'm just going to see what happens here. So let's get into it. So what's up with this? What's happening? Give me some details here.
For reference, I do not care about Valentine's Day. I'm not one of those people who hate it because it's cool to dislike things. I'm just impartial to it overall, and celebrating isn't a big deal to me. My boyfriend and I have been dating for about a year now, and this is supposed to be our first Valentine's Day together. Back during Christmas, he said I really outdid him gift-wise, and he said he wanted to make it up to me for Valentine's Day. I didn't really think much of it, but then he started talking about taking me away somewhere, something private, like a private cabin because of COVID. I was getting really excited because I've just never had someone do something like that for me before, and he was really raising my expectations. Fast forward to 3 days ago, and he's telling me he didn't make as much money as he thought he would this month, so he doesn't think we're going to be able to go anywhere. Totally fine with me. I understand he has bills to pay and whatnot. The same day, not even an hour later, we are walking around town and he buys a pair of shoes he likes for over $300. Don't get me wrong, it's his money, but it just really hurt me. What he spent definitely could have covered a night's stay somewhere close and dinner if that's what he had planned. I don't really care that we're not celebrating Valentine's Day, but it would have been the same feeling as if it was any other date night. It just hurts to be presented with something and then have it ripped out from under you. I'm not even mad. I'm just really sad because he does stuff like this all the time. Finances aren't his strong point. Even though he has a really good paying job, he has zero in savings and just spends his money frivolously on things like clothes and shoes and jewelry, but at the same time talks about he wants to move in with me. I can't even wrap my head around it. I think this whole situation has just been the tipping point in terms of my problems with his financial spending. It's his money and not my business, but how do I let him know what he did bothers me? I don't want him to get defensive because I'm putting my nose in his finances.
I mean, well, first of all, there's two things that jump out to me as kind of odd. He didn't make as much money as he thought he was going to, but then she says he has a really good paying job. So my first thought was, well, wait a second, like, is he in the service industry, or is he, I don't know, something that where the income isn't the same from month to month? But then she jumps forward and says he has a really good paying job. So that says to me that he makes the same amount of money every month, or I'm assuming based on what she said. But I think that, I think I'm starting to agree with you, Poe. I think this guy is, I mean, he's really trying to come off as the alpha in this relationship. And, but I will say that's a bold move to continue to offer up niceties and talk about them, and then literally do nothing. And then not only do nothing, but then in front of your girl buy the $300 pair of shoes. So
like a little bit later in the same conversation.
Right.
You know, not even a couple of like hours later.
Yeah. We're not going to the cabin this weekend. No. I got to go get some shoes. So can't go to the cabin this weekend. Got to get the shoes. Yeah, this is, and then he likes to spend his money on jewelry, which is also very interesting to me. But I mean, this is South. I don't know that this is. She's clearly not into this. She's clearly not going to be happy unless this guy's got this big grandiose plan that he's going to keep disappointing and keep disappointing and keep disappointing, and then boom, one day it's going to be this magical 10-day vacation to, you know, the Bahamas, which I really don't see either. This guy sounds like he's really into himself. Sounds like she's probably some arm candy for him while he's wearing his expensive clothes and jewelry and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that's going on here, but I get it. I get why she's sad. This sucks. This is not a good situation for her, and I don't know that she's going to find a way out of it. I don't know it's getting any better. Doesn't sound like it to me.
I fundamentally don't believe that she's not mad about the Valentine's Day thing. Not because she's a woman.
It too many times.
She did say
she said, I don't know, 11 times in 6 paragraphs that she wasn't mad about, she didn't even care about Valentine's Day. You obviously cared, you know, and that's fine. Like, it's okay to care about holidays. It's okay to care about holidays, being in a relationship with somebody who doesn't care about that holiday. That's totally fine. If you're like, hey, you know what? Flag Day is a big deal to me. And the other person's like,
Flag
not
Day
a flag
is a
guy.
big deal to me.
You know, like, that's fine.
It's my
I mean,
birthday.
that's okay. Like, you guys could figure it out. You know, you don't have to stop being in a relationship because, you know, you don't want to celebrate stamp day, you know, like, that's fine. But this girl who's saying, I mean, look, this is a 25-year-old man that she's dating, right?
Yep.
She's 22, he's 25. You don't have to have your whole life figured out at 25. Nobody does. I didn't. Nobody here had it. Like, none of us had any idea what was happening at 25 years old.
Correct.
That's fine. That's okay. But if somebody's 25 years old and they're out there and they're spending with reckless abandon, just complete reckless abandon, and forget like, okay, he was disrespectful because he did it in the thing. That sounds to me like somebody who, in his mind, and again, she said, like, he's not great with his finances. He makes money, whether it's good or who knows how much he makes or whatever, but he makes money and he has nothing in savings. That tells me that's somebody who doesn't see money as something to be sort of nurtured, if you will. It's a means to something. It's a means to something else instant, right? That for him, that's what it is. He wants something else out of his money, which it's totally fine to be that person. That's okay. But this is a 25-year-old man doing this. He's not going to change. Like, he's not going to change.
No.
It's not how it's going to work. Now, he could develop some habits and he could do some stuff, but he's constantly going to fight this for the rest of his life. For the rest of his life, he will be fighting this because it's been 25 years. He's not going to see the light, and that's not how human nature works. So now she's saying, how do I talk? Like, her actual question is, which sort of threw me for a loop, because her actual question is, how do I talk to him about his finances? Had nothing to do with anything, which again makes me think you do care about Valentine's Day, because you're sitting here and you're like, I don't care about Valentine's Day, but we didn't do this for Valentine's Day. But how do I talk to you about my finances? That has nothing to do with it. Like, you could have given me any number of examples. Plus, you're saying, you know, hey, $300 could have covered I mean, you put some thought into this. Let's be real. She's like, it could have covered the hotel room plus a dinner plus whatever, like all this stuff. Look, I don't know where these people live. I don't know how much it costs to go to a cabin plus a nice dinner with the gas.
She clearly
and all
had it in her
stuff.
mind that that's what was happening, so she added it up.
100%. So she's mad. This is somebody who's mad. If somebody tells you I'm not mad about that, they're definitely mad about it. Like, they're 100% mad about it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have brought it up.
She's not mad. She's sad.
No, she's not sad. She's definitely not sad about it. Well, she might be sad about it too, but she's furious. I mean, this woman is furious. Although I will say, does a good job of not coming across overly furious in her wording. So kudos on that. But this woman is saying, this is a 25-year-old man. How do I talk to him about his finances without basically making him feel bad? You can't. You absolutely can't. Tell him, hey, guy who thinks it's cool to just not have savings at 25, I don't want to be with you. Like, that's what you have to say. You have to dump this guy, stand up to him and dump him, because this is somebody who literally doesn't even care enough to think about the fact that there is somebody else in this relationship with him who in the future he might want to consider being with. He wants to move in with you. He might want to marry you, all of those things. He's not even considering what's this going to do to our combined finances, whether we actually combine them or we just are in the same house at the same time paying bills simultaneously. Right. However he chooses to do that, he's not even considering that right now. You're not going to be able to fix that. Don't try and fix him, because that's not your job. Your job is not to fix him. Your job is to go find somebody that doesn't have to be quote unquote fixed to fit with you. That's the job. The job is not, hey, let me fix this other person so that they resemble something I like. Yeah. The job is let's go find somebody who's a fully formed human that fits with me, and then we can grow together. Not fix, we can grow together. We can change for the better, because the two of us have now combined to be some whole greater than the sum of its parts. That's the goal of what you want to do, not to fix someone who looks nice now and is probably going to look terrible in 10 years. Like, that's not the goal of getting married or being in a relationship or whatever. So the answer is, Just don't be with him. That's the answer. The answer is stop being with people who are spending $300 on a pair of shoes when they have no savings. Like, just don't be with that person. You know, like if you're not down with that, if you're not pumped up about the fact that he just bought this new pair of shoes for $300 when he has no money, don't be with that person. You know, well, I'm not saying.
And let's be even more frank. I mean, if we're just now at a year, we've been together almost a year.
Yeah.
And we're not having conversations about how I don't like to sleep over at your place, or we're not having conversations about how your parents annoy me, or we're having a conversation in a young relationship about finances. Like, I don't know, other than, you know, horrible criminal past. There's no, if this is already an issue and you haven't even been together for a year and you're asking for advice on how you speak to this 25-year-old guy about finances, that's never going to get fixed. That's always going to be a poke the bear situation. He's going to be pissed off for forever. And yeah, so I'm completely with you. This is a move on situation. That is the answer. There is no way to talk to him about it. The moment you bring it up, nothing positive is coming from that. There's going to be no explanation. It's going to be immediate anger. It's going to be, it's my money. I can do whatever I want. I look good. Have you seen my shoes? Did you see my jewelry? It's just, in less than a year of relationship at this young of an age, if you're talking about how we need to figure out finances, blow it up, blow the whole thing up. It's done.
I guess I have 2 points, and one of them I kind of disagree. I think that you should be talking about finances earlier than a year. Like, I don't think it should go to a year before, like, you're really having like conversations about
how do you broach that? Please explain to me how you broach with somebody you've been dating for 3 months. Hey, I really enjoyed the steak this evening. How much do you have in savings, and what are you planning to do? I mean, how do you broach that?
I don't think it has to do with necessarily like how are you planning on saving, but like it's kind of picking up on this has been bothering her for a while. The fact that he doesn't manage his money well, and I think that that's pretty obvious early on. You can tell who manages their money well and who doesn't. Like, I'm not someone who manages my money well, and it's super obvious. Everyone.
But is she upset that he doesn't? Is she upset that he doesn't manage his money well, or is she more upset that he doesn't spend any money on her?
No, I think it's the way he manages his money. I think the issue here is you have a 22-year-old in a relationship with someone who's 25, and I don't think she's ever had a conversation about money. And I think she's realizing, because it's the first time she's probably maybe making more money herself, and she's probably starting to spend because she's thinking about it. And she's like, but this dude is older than I am. He makes more and he has zero savings. And she's starting to think this is maybe a good relationship, but like, I don't know if I want to be with someone who is 25 and has money that he could be contributing to like savings accounts and isn't doing it. And I just think it's the first time she's really realizing that these things matter. I think if you are someone who is very in tune with your finances, it is so obvious when you go on a first couple dates with someone, whether if you're dating someone who is very into it. And I mean, it's not like a blatant conversation, like how much are you of each paycheck are you putting in a 401k? I don't think that that's what you have early on, but it's not so much a matter of having conversation about finances, it's realizing if you mesh or you have the same future goals. Because if someone it likes to spend a lot of money willy-nilly and the other person doesn't, no matter what you do, it's not the fact that they necessarily need to change. I think that was already brought up, right? We're not going to change anyone, but how close are you? Like, how far is that disconnect? And she doesn't really, I don't think she has a good understanding of talking about finances at all to be able to like figure out if that's like something he's interested in, or he's at the point in his life where he's like, I'm 25 years old. I'm going to buy what I want to buy, and then I'll worry about it at 30. And to her, that might be okay. Like, we're going to do this. But I mean, I still think that's a bad mode. But I think the other thing that's bothering her about the Valentine's Day, yes, I think she's upset about Valentine's Day because he introduced the idea in her head and hyped it up in her head, and she didn't even care. And now she's like, someone I care about made me care about something, and then all of a sudden doesn't care because of a pair of sneakers.
Hold on. we'll address both of those points. You almost landed that second point until what you just said. I was in agreement with you on that second point until what you just
I usually
said,
fail the ending.
because what you just said was he introduced it to her to make her care. No, she already cared. That's why it mattered.
Okay.
Because he brought it up. I think you're right that he said, hey, I'm going to do this. And she got geeked out on that because she's like, oh, I don't want to pretend. I don't want him to know that I care about Valentine's Day, but secretly I do, but I pretend like I don't, but I really do care. And now he's on board. And so now she feels like she's lied to. I agree with you 100%. It's his fault that he brought that up. And also now she's thinking, oh, wait a minute. This is a dude who's unreliable. This guy's been lying. He lied to me about that. He lied to me about other stuff. You're 100% right on that. On the first part, to address your first point, I think the first, second, or third question that you should ask the second you meet anybody that you even want to consider going on a date with should be, how much of your paycheck are you putting in to your 401k? 100%. I think that's exactly what should be happening. You should constantly be asking people what funds they have put their money into, what sort of what percentage breakdown they have in cash versus bonds versus stocks. If you're somebody who likes to take risk, you should know the amount of holdings that they are comfortable with in some sort of actual cryptocurrency, not a cryptocurrency ETF, just a straight bet on a single crypto or multiple cryptos. I want to know what percentage of their portfolio are they willing to risk? Because that's somebody that that's how I can tell, okay, they might be willing to risk this in my life. I think fundamentally, I think you should 100% the first day, I think we should be asking everybody how much, what percent, but notice I said, what percentage, right? Or maybe I didn't say that, and I want to change it today. I don't want to know I don't want to know the number. I just want to know if your gross paycheck, the amount of gross paycheck that you make, how much of that, what percentage of that goes into a 401k? And the follow-up question should be, is it a Roth or is it a regular 401k? That's 100% what should happen. I think that is a phenomenal way to deal with these things. And then you wouldn't have to waste a year on a dude who probably has nicer shoes than you.
Well, then,
I want to double down on that, because the number one reason for divorce is finances. And if you're already a year in, you're willing to make a lot of sacrifices, including financial mismatch, to continue that relationship. So you just got to end it right away.
Well, I'm curious though, Poe, in your line of questioning. So if that is question number one, immediately followed by what is the vehicle of which that money is being saved? Is it Roth? Is it 401k? Then what's question number three? Like, when was do you have like a laminated card of all of your, sexually transmitted disease tests handy? So well, I like to keep that like number 5 or 6. That's more of a mystery situation for me. I like to have some mystery in the relationship. I don't want to get to that too early. You know what I mean? Like that's more of a late entree situation on a first date. Got it.
The second one immediately that springs to mind is, what are your thoughts on, the Gerber method of child rearing? I think you're going to get a lot of insight from that question. And then probably number 3 for me, at least, and this is a personal preference situation. You could change a couple of, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're pretty interchangeable. I think 1 and 2 are pretty solid. I think 1 and 2 like that, you got to have those. Number 3, for me personally, is really something along the lines of what's your favorite, Sandra Bullock vehicle. That's really that, because that's an important thing for me. I want to, if somebody says the lake, immediate leaving, I'm gone. I'm out, I'm like, no, you can't. I'm sorry. Your favorite Sandra Bullock movie cannot be the one wherein Keanu Reeves tried to have sex with her through a mailbox, But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's for me, That's what I like to see number 3 be, because I think those 3 questions, that really tells me most of what I need to know about any human being.
That's interesting. Sandra Bullock. I'm a little disappointed that you know that much about Sandra Bullock movies.
Look,
but,
she's a national treasure. She is a literal miscongeniality. You know, there's a lot about Sandra Bullock.
She did bring home the All-American. I married the cheating tattoo artist Jesse James, who rides a motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
So, well, no, I'm disagreeing with you. I think you're taking your advice from somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're doing. But anyway.
But I'm not saying, look, I'm not even saying you have to be pro Sandra. I just need to know the answer to that question. And that's going to tell me who you are as a person. You know what I mean?
See, because if you said, I would go the other way with the co-star though. So my preference is favorite Keanu movie. And
interesting.
And if you say A Walk in the Clouds, then I know I got to keep her on my hands. So,
that is. I will say, before you said that, that was the number 1 in my book.
Yeah.
I was worried you were going to go with something, a little bit more, widely accepted by human audiences. But I'm glad that you didn't. I'm glad you went with the one, that really speaks to the heart. It's really the best, really the best movie that I think he's ever made, in my opinion. It's the most heartfelt, it's the most touching one.
Yeah. I mean, you got a returning war veteran who's selling chocolate, who goes to this wealthy family who makes wine and lies to them and says he's marrying the daughter and he got her knocked up. And I mean, that just exudes what every man should want to be in their life.
100%.
So maybe this guy should sit down and watch some Sandra Bullock and some Keanu Reeves movies, as well as maybe some Tony Robbins, maybe a little Mad Money with Jim Cramer.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole situation, answer all around, there's no way to talk about it. I'm sorry, there's no way to talk about it.
Not with this guy. I think she's got to dump him. I think she's got to stand up. She's got to do something. She needs to get out of this situation. She's in a situation that's not great for her. So that's it. I think we did it. I think we nailed it this time. Again, we appreciate people watching, listening, all that stuff. Please share us with other people, tell people about us, all that. It does help us out. We do appreciate it. Certainly, check us out on social media. We got some good channels out there, TikTok and Instagram in particular. Kind of doing some fun stuff out there. So we like that. So certainly hit us up there. If you got questions and all of that, you can hit us up. You can also hit us up by email. What's the email?
It is info.yourrelationshipsucks@gmail.com.
Right, so you can hit us up there. Otherwise, we will be back next time answering more questions with more people who seem to be struggling for absolutely no reason whatsoever. We will see everybody then.